Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Business Podcast, your source for all things business. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so I have Carl Edelblute on the line, and he's Senior Vice President over at JorgensenFM. Carl, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you very much, Adam. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak with you and your listeners today.
All right, so Carl, excited to get into today's topic. So we're going to talk about trends in facilities management, and you're the guy I want to talk about with that because you've been in the industry for a long time. But before we get into that, I'd like to talk a little bit more about what you're doing over at JorgensenFM. Tell us a little bit more about the company, please.
Yeah, so really holistically looking, we're a real estate asset preservation organization that specializes in creating value by aligning our clients' real estate portfolio with the company's goals and objectives. The goal there is to free up money for other growth opportunities. And historically, we focus in the mid-market area versus large corporations. I was going to say services that are historically included in that line is full integrated FM capabilities, which include on-site resources as well as route-based solutions for some of our clients. We do strategic planning, lease administration, project management, facility condition assessments, as well as mission-critical operations, building technologies, vendors management. And then we have a small arm within this division that specializes in consulting from operational and management review. And then lastly, we do vendor management. Some of our clients in the past and currently are the International Monetary Fund, Google, which I'm sure some people have heard of, Mazda Corporation, Toyota, both Toyota Motor Sales, as well as their research and development, blood banks of San Bernardino, Riverside, and San Bernardino, Riverside in Orange County. We've worked with hospitals such as Hoag and Providence. Currently, we have a facility condition assessment on a consulting for the city of Newport Beach.
Fantastic. And so at the end of this, I'm going to give you the opportunity to leave contact information so that people listening, a lot of business owners, entrepreneurs, executives listening, so that the right people can connect with Jorgensen FM. What areas geographically do you cover? I mean, give us a little bit more on that so that the right people follow up.
Yeah, currently we're operating in 32 states. Our largest operations are in Florida, Texas, the greater Washington, D.C. area, and California.
Fantastic. So that's a great transition, and I just wanted to give everybody an idea of the scope. So it's a big company, and that's why I want you on the line for this one, Carl. So trends in facilities management, I mean, you have the vantage point of working with really large names and also middle market companies. I mean, what kind of things are you noticing? What excites you? You've been in the business for a long time.
You know, probably up until the pandemic struck, what we were seeing is a return to what I'll call the normal from a pendulum perspective. Some years ago, the solutions for facilities management was historically looking at complete integrated single source, one supplier does everything for you. We went through probably a 5-year to 7-year period where that was the business model that the users in the industry liked. From an outsourcing perspective. As time went by, I think there was some dissatisfaction for no specific reason, but maybe they felt like a loss of control or something to that degree. So they started pulling back in and going to more single source services type of providers. So the janitorial company was different from the landscape company, was different from the management company. So that was kind of the midpoint. And now what we've seen that the industry has gone back to the earlier model and is now looking at more of an integrated services platform. And the challenge with that is the resources to deliver on multitudes of both strategic and tactical lines of business and types of the different businesses, from fitness centers on locations to cafeteria services.
Oh, that makes total sense. I mean, especially for some of maybe the smaller companies or smaller players, it makes total sense. Like that sounds like a difficult proposition. Well, what do you see coming next? Like, what do you see kind of next down the line? Not asking you to have that crystal ball, by the way, but like, where do you think this goes?
I tell everybody our crystal ball is pretty good for about 5 years. Once you start moving out past 5, you end up, it gets kind of hazy.
Hey, 5 is good for the record.
Yeah, we've had clients that have asked us to tell them what the next 20 years are going to look like, and we just sit there and go, "Are you serious?"
You're like, "Well, I'm retiring. That's what it's going to look like." No, I'm just playing.
Yeah. I think what we're seeing in this new slash redeployed business model concept is I think you're seeing a little bit more focus go into the culture. And before, the relationships were all documentation, key performance metrics, critical performance metrics. It was all very cut and dry and didn't take into account the culture of the organization as well as the culture of the services provider. And I think as we move into this newer model, we're seeing a couple things. We're seeing that culture is playing a huge role, because it isn't because nobody doesn't want to do a good job. Everybody wants to do a good job. Of course, just the culture didn't align, right? The other thing that we're seeing is through the integration, we're seeing contract terms that are at minimum for the more sophisticated organizations out there are minimum 5 years with at least some number of options, if not a complete option for a 5-year extension on top of that. Though this sounds really unique, it's not that unique in the government sector, where we play quite a bit in the government sector. It's very common to have 5-10-year contracts in the government sector, but we're starting to see it finally in the private sector. And it only makes sense because as you engage the services provider and you pull them in a collaborative environment, it makes them more willing to make an investment in your company, which effectively is what they're doing from the day one when they walk through the door. So I think as we migrate back to the fully integrated model, I think there's a lot of really, really good opportunities for both the companies that are doing it as well as the companies that are going to provide the service to have long-term, meaningful, and rewarding relationships.
That's awesome. So, Carl, that being said, if somebody's listening to this and they want more information on Jorgensen FM, I mean, what's the best way for them to reach out and to connect with your team?
I'm very easy to get a hold of. One of the things we've done is my email address is very simple. It's Carl with a C at JorgensenFM.com. I carry my cell phone 24/7, 365. The only time I don't answer is I'm either in a meeting or up in an airplane, and that number is 360-320-8390.
Awesome. Well, Carl, really appreciate you coming on the show today to talk more about all the great work you're doing over at Jorgensen FM, but also the trends that you're seeing in facilities management. So great stuff there. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review in the Apple iTunes Store. And if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Business, definitely give us a subscribe there, but also leave us some comments in the video. Love to know what kind of projects and things that you're working on. And Carl, thanks again for coming on the show.
Thank you again, Adam. I really appreciate it.